Kenya, how do you know if you found the one?
Oh, okay. Well, you know for sure based off of like values and same beliefs. Like, I mean, for me, like I'm a Christian, obviously. So Josh being a Christian and Josh walking out his faith, that was like a big one for me. He wasn't just talking about, oh, I'm a Christian, but his actions weren't matching up to it. Like he was about it. And I would also say going in the same direction lifestyle wise, and just like your vision and their vision kind of like align and kind of like meet up in the middle sort of thing. And yeah, so that's how I knew you were the one, because we both were like, yeah, let's do this, and it just happened like that way. And then also like being on the same trajectory as like for family and for children and things like that. Like, what does that look like? And just matching up with that and all those things. And then also to add on to that, I would say like for me, it was important that my dad like was like yes. That was very important to me, because every other relationship, my dad was like, like, I mean, I don't dislike them, you know what I mean? But like with Josh, he was like, yeah, he's solid. So I was like, okay, perfect. So those are important things to me.
So yeah, those are all the things that were on my list, except children. So I think almost all of these are non-negotiable, except maybe family support in very, very certain instances. But values, non-negotiable. If y'all don't have the same values, it is not going to work out, not even a little bit. So you must have the same value. You must be on board with morals and faith. If that, Jesus Christ, come on.
You can do it.
Yeah, I don't know why it's finicking in this one spot. All right, so morals and faith, big. Lifestyle direction, I think this is a sneaky one that people don't give enough thought to, right? Because you can have the same values here, you can have the same morals and the same faith, but if you're not headed in the same direction, then you're either going to drift apart, or you're not always going to be in alignment with what you want your life to look like. For instance, we'll do a ministry one and a non-ministry one. So somebody is in ministry and it's like, hey, I want to, be a missionary. I want to go all over the place and preach the gospel. And say that's the guy. But the girl is like a homebody, and she just kind of wants to stay home, and she wants her person to be home all the time, her husband to be home all the time. Well, it's just not really the best situation. Like, y'all aren't set up for success, no matter how attracted to each other you are. Despite the fact that you have the same values, the same morals and faith, it's going to be very hard to overcome if his lifestyle is leading him in one direction and your lifestyle is saying, hey, let me do that. You're either going to have to compromise and be content in that compromise, or you're going to, which is, I think, the smarter thing to do, is to look for a better situation. Also, if somebody is more outgoing and likes to be out or maybe is like into fashion, different things, because there's nothing wrong with that. There is something wrong when it, becomes an idol in your life, of course. But say somebody is more outgoing, wants to hang out with friends all the time, and you're kind of a laid back person, don't really want to do much, not really fond of going out, right? Despite the fact that you have the same values, same morals and faith, probably not the best situation, right? Now, over time, if you really love each other, you can learn to compromise and probably find a healthy balance. But again, I think it's really a non-negotiable that your lifestyle direction has to be the same. And that's got to be worked out during dating as well. So like, for instance, we aligned with our values and our morals and faith in our talks, our first week of, kind of hanging out. But then after we started dating, our lifestyle direction, we realize like, yeah, we're headed in the same direction. Like we want to live out our life the same way. Again, children, which is another non-negotiable, we're on the same page about, all right, this is how we want. Yeah, you're cheesing hard right now, aren't you? Look how hard she's cheesing.
Yeah.
Look how hard she's cheesing.
Because we do want children.
Yeah, absolutely, we do. But yeah, but we're in alignment with the children, with the direction that we want our lifestyle to look like and to be. Of course, morals and faith and values are non-negotiable. And I think family support is very important. Not sure if it's a necessity, especially in certain situations. Say like your family is not Christian, but you are Christian, and they have a problem with you dating a Christian or marrying a Christian or something.
Yeah, that's on like
something like
case
that.
by case.
Yeah. So there are cases, but that is important. So I will put like, just an orange thing there. But yeah, ultimately, you want to have someone who gives their best to get the best out of me or out of you. And I am joyfully willing to do the same. So basically, you want somebody who's giving their best so that they get the best out of you, but that also you are joyfully willing to do the same for them. Like you are giving your best, with the intent of getting the best out of them.
Yeah,
and so it's a self-sacrifice.
Yeah. And it's like it's a mutualistic relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
No parasites around here. Okay?
But yeah, and that brings up this Bible verse that I was thinking of when Jesus says like there's no greater love for basically there's no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friend. And so it's showing that the ultimate form of love is like this action of laying down your life. But then the underlying motif is that to this deeper sort of love is rooted in, sacrificing and the giving of yourself to others. And when we often think of love in the modern sense, it's always paired with, well, what has this person done for me? Like you're always thinking of, well, what have they sacrificed for me to prove that they love me, right? When really, and then you're like, oh, now I love this person. When really it should be the opposite, is like, oh, I sacrifice a lot for this person because I truly love them. Mm-hmm. And that's truly unconditional love. But yeah, you definitely want somebody who is empathetic to your shortcomings. That's terrible. Okay, I'm glad we have that. Empathetic to your shortcomings, but also, again, holds you accountable, right? And accountability is something that it keeps coming up because it's super important, because we're walking down the same path, and so you have to have somebody there holding you accountable, not only in a spiritual sense to keep you on the straight and narrow, but also just in a practical, everyday sense. Like, hey, you have your task, I have my task, right? If you're lacking on your task, I need to come to you and say, hey, like, what's up? Yeah, like, why haven't you done X, Y, and Z? And you do the same for me so that we can keep the team moving in the right direction and firing on all cylinders. Because, of course, there's going to be times when I'm not feeling my best, not giving my best performance, and vice versa. But that's when the other person's kind of got to step up and, come over and say, all right, let's regroup so that we can, both get back on track. Because if we're both being great at the same time, well, now we're truly going to come out victorious, and, we're unstoppable in a sense in that case. But so you want somebody that's empathetic, accountable, but also someone that is encouraging, which is big, right? Because people can hold people accountable all day long. It's like, hey, do this, do this, do this. But if they're not encouraging you, well, then now it's like almost becoming like a nag. Like you're just nagging them. You're always getting on them. Which brings me to my last thing. They also need to be able to take criticism, right? Because a lot of people can take the accountability, right? Or they can hold people accountable, but they can't take the accountability themselves. So it's like they can dish it, but they can't take it. That is not how you spell criticism. Hold on. Criticism. Okay, whatever.
Y'all get it. Y'all know.
Yeah. I'm writing at a weird angle. My writing's already not the best, but I thought this would be cool to kind of do. And plus, I get to work on my penmanship on here. And you're writing on an iPad. Last thing, and one of the most important things, is the person should be supplying you with some type of peace.